So a very warm welcome to my show, sir, Bhopal Talks. To briefly explain our guest today, Colonel Tyagvir sir. Colonel Tyagvir sir is such a personality where he has a blend of both armed forces and also a corporate world. Sir, today we will just discuss about your childhood. So, what was your motive to join Indian Army, and how was the life in Army and in corporate, and what lessons we can learn from your experience so that we can make our life in a very fruitful manner. Sir, to start with, sir, who was Tyagvir Raghav before joining the armed forces? Whether Tyagvir Raghav was a normal kid or a very hyperactive kid or very studious kid. So how you will define your childhood of Tyagvir Raghav?
Yeah, thank you so much, Bhausala, giving this platform to me, talking about my life. So, thank you so much. To answer your question, Bhausala, it was a very normal kid in the childhood who didn't know anything about armed forces to start with. But somehow, I had a relative who was my Pupaji, means my father's sister's husband, and he was a captain in the artillery, and I was I think, sixth or seventh class student. So whenever he used to visit our native place, I used to get inspired by his way of talking, way of dressing sense, way of conducting, way of standing, walking, and that was the first influence on my life. So to say that yes, I was a studious student. I was quite brilliant in my class, right from the sixth class, eighth class, and ninth, tenth, all along. I always topped in my class, and even in the college also, I topped. So seeing that this gentleman, that time captain, my Fupaji, he used to interact with me a lot, asking a lot of riddles, and then I used to answer them. Most of them I used to answer them, and he used to get impressed. So to say that he was my first impression in my childhood.
Okay, sir. So as you said that you were a brilliant student or you was a above average student in your childhood. So what actually it was like that you are top as you see that many above average students are like very studious. They are not into sports, they are not into cultural activities. Whether in your childhood were you into sports and cultural activities or very studious, only related to books?
So, yes, your question is that I was studious and how come I landed up in army? You want to say that?
No, sir. My question is, were you studious? What do you mean by studious? That you're only into books or you are into your sports, cultural activities like all around? All rounder or only into
Okay.
books?
Okay. So, let me tell you that I am from a very humble background, in the sense I am from a village where schooling means a lot of running around, a lot of games which are normally played in the villages, kabaddi, like that. So I used to play all this. But when I went to college, that is the time I participated in everything. That means I was in the NCC, I was in the drama, I was also part of running, and all sort of things I used to participate. And that is the reason that when I was in the college, I was SZ, the rest of the institute. I was institute senior, and over and above, I was also declared as general secretary, because जो political parties थी, the आपस में जिनमें झगड़ा हो गया बाद में, तो they decided कि कॉलेज सीनियर स्टूडेंट जो इंस्टीट्यूट सीनियर है उसको बना देते हैं, नॉमिनेट कर देते हैं, because they both agreed. I never had any conflict with any of the party. They were the political
Okay.
parties. So finally, that general secretary also landed up with me. So all the three top posts of my institute, best boy of the institute, that seniors, student senior, and as well as the general secretary, all I hold 3 years in my institute. So I was overall, but yes, I must say that I was more academics than more outdoor.
Okay. Sir, how do you think that the overall development of as a kid is very much important? So, what is your opinion on this? And also, I want to ask that if a kid is only studious and he is not very much into these outdoor activities, like he is not mingling with the society, what are the impacts on that kid? So that what, how is the nurturing of the kid is not in the right manner?
हौसला आपकी जो वॉइस जो है ना बीच में कट रही है थोड़ा सा उसकी वजह से ना द क्वेश्चन इज नॉट वेरी क्लियर सो आई थिंक यू हैव टू बी लिटिल आई मस्ट से कंसिस्टेंट कैन यू कम अगेन विद द
Okay,
क्वेश्चन
sir. Yes, sir. Sir, as what my question was, sir, the overall development of a kid for the nurturing of the kid is how much it is important. Because nowadays we can see many kids only into phones and just into themselves. They just cannot come and mingle with the society. So how the overall development of the kid is very much important here. How it is. So what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, Hosala, see, it is very important to be the participating in the outdoor activities because that brings the holistic development of a child. And it's not only that, you know, the team spirit, how to lead, how to be part of a team or team player. Everything, unless you are a person who participate in extracurricular activities, you will not learn that. And it's very important to become a very holistic personality. Just by being a bookworm and by just a studious student, in the long run, it will not help you. So, as you rightly said, it's very, very important to be part of all outdoor activities, something. You have to pick up something where you should be uh, participating in the team so that you learn how one can be team player at the same time. If you are given the responsibility, how can become a leader, and also you must know that how to manage the logistics for the various activities. These things, unless you are a part of these practical groups, maybe cultural program, maybe some sports, maybe some team sports, is very important to develop a holistic personality of a child.
Sir, as you said that you are a general secretary in the college. So, as being the general secretary, what all the challenges you faced initially, and how did you overcome the challenges?
Yeah. So let me tell you, it's a good story about that. You know, this was a MG Polytechnic Hathras in UP. And there were, as usual, everywhere there are always a one party, one opposition party. And both of them had some differences. And finally, when the election were fought, they fought with among each other. So elections were finally cancelled because nothing could be decided. By the time, what happened is that annual function was to be held. That means that some representative of the union, student union, has to be there to sign the budget and the expenditure for the annual function. So when this annual function was approaching, the principal wanted that let's not have an annual function, but the students were hell bent upon that. Yes, we will have the annual function. But then principal said, "Who is the general secretary?" Because there is no elections held. So both the party went to the principal and they said, "Yes, we will make general secretary to the institute senior," because I was neutral to both the parties and I was not in politics at
Okay.
all. So principal agreed to that because principal also used to like me because I was topper all along in the first year, second year, and all. So then once I was made the general secretary, the problem was to keep both the parties happy. It means meeting the requirement of both the parties. Then when the annual function came, again the same thing, that one party wanted something to be organized, other party wanted something else to be organized. But in fact, I had such a good influence on both the parties. Whatever I used to tell the leaders of those warring parties, they used to accept whatever I used to tell. it may be because of my handling the both the parties. Because of that, I was neutral. I was rational, logical in my approach, and that is the way I could handle both the parties. And I succeeded in holding the basically that annual functions peacefully and successfully. Not only that, when the function was there, chairman, vice chairman of Aligarh Muslim University was the chief guest, whom I introduced to my secretaries. There were a number of secretaries, cultural secretary, sports secretary, like that. And then we got all the awards, and these three awards which I mentioned to you were given to me during that function only.
So this was basically in your engineering or in your 11th and 12th?
Yes, in fact, I did first 3-year diploma. Thereafter, I did engineering.
Good, good, sir. So engineering, so you're general secretary in your engineering college.
This was in the diploma institute. This was a 3-year diploma course where I was a general secretary.
Okay, sir. Sir, now from where did you do your BTech? From which university you did your BTech and how was your BTech experience? Because it is very, I being a BTech student, the
Yeah.
whole nurturing of an individual, whether it would be taking a leadership role or taking the responsibilities or taking the instant decisions, is all these skills that will get developed in this BTech period because the whole BTech period will be put into many stress situation where you have to work a lot and we have to come out of that. How this BTech journey has improved you and helped you to evolve as a person?
Hoysala, my whole experience of this managing and team spirit and whatever leadership skill you are talking about, I did during my this 3-year diploma course only. Because thereafter, I went for a job in the Hindustan Aeronautics Ltd, Nasik. While I was working there, I did my another 2 years from the Delhi, which is called Institution of Electronics and Telecom Engineers, IET. That is in Delhi,
Okay.
and that was way back in
Okay.
1985. Okay, so that interaction with the people and the student, that was my diploma. This was only the distant education where I used to appear for the papers and the clear those papers, and thereafter you get a degree for that. Okay, which was equivalent to a appearing for the civil services or any other examination for which require a BTech equivalent degree. So my whole management of the people or dealing with the students, everything was during this 3 year, which I did it in MGI Polytechnic, which you call it, Murlidhar Gajanan Institute of Hathras in Uttar Pradesh. And that time, not only this, let me tell you one more incident which was much more serious even than higher colleges. You know, student never wanted the exam to be held in a particular date. So there were a lot of
Okay.
riots in the college that time. Though first 2 year, this was one of the best institute where when I joined in, even you can't turn your neck while appearing for the examination. That was the kind of discipline. That was the kind of learning. It's a wonderful institute. In fact, I learned much more than even what in diploma, what even the BTech one could have learned because of the kind of faculty was there, kind of means I took challenges myself. I used to refer those books which normally that was Hindi medium, but I never took Hindi medium. I always buy my own books from Delhi and refer those all higher level MTech and BTech level books. So these parties, since they have never studied well, they never wanted the examination to be held up on that particular date. Okay, so there was a conflict between the principal and these political parties. So finally, they wanted those sincere people who wanted to appear for the examination. They were stopping at every place, whether on the bus stand or the railway station. They were not allowing people to come to the examination hall. That was the kind of situation. But would have it because I was general secretary also, I was institute senior also, and I never had any inclination toward any political party. And that is where your ingenuity of a leadership, or you can say managing the people comes in. Then I met the principal, I met these people also. I told them, look, what are you going to achieve by holding somebody's election? Because somebody's career on the task, and they will lose this year, and they will unnecessarily delay degrees. So finally, after a lot of discussion with the management as well as with the student, this exams were held, but there a lot has been conflict. There a lot many students were hurt because the student who wanted to appear for the exam, these political students, they will go and hurt them, they will beat them up, send them back. And touchwood, none of them came to me, none of them try to because I never involved myself in that. But at the end of the day, exam were held, but the situation was not all that good, which used to be when we joined that institute. That kind of discipline, it became a very bad situation. And finally the exam were held, but I am telling you under what condition we came out. And that too, when I uh, topped, or rather I was somewhere third or fourth in the UP Board of Technical Education. That was something I cannot forget it, that situation, the kind of situation which had happened that time.
So when this type of situation occurs during the college, basically we are that was in the age of 18 to 20, right? What you're talking is, so what was the thoughts in your mind? For example, what I believe is when somebody is revolting or somebody is opposing some situation, at that point of age, they will be lacking the clarity in mindset or they might be influenced by somebody. So how, what is the source so of these type of revolts and all, and how you define this? Why does this mindset come into an individual or student?
Yeah, so let me tell you, Hosala, at that age of 18, 19, 20, the people are very young. Okay.
Okay.
They don't know what they don't know exactly. They are not aware what life is all about.
So
Okay.
it's
They
very
don't know the
sensitive.
importance of time. They don't know the importance of the time which they are wasting. Okay. That is the time you have to make or break your life. That is the time you have to focus on one thing to make or career, not get into the politics of stupid kind. Okay, when you are doing something, social work is perfect, but fighting each other and just to postpone the exam, not to study, then you want to make a copying in the exam. This is all a wastage of your life itself. Not only that, you are destroying yourself, it's a destructive mind, so my thought always has been that why these people are hurting their career, uh, destroying their career. And I since I never advocated such things, though I never directly got in conflict with any parties or anything, and I never became a political person during my student days. I always believed in this is the place where you should learn, make your life, make your career, and go ahead. It is not a place to do the politics and fight among each other and hurt each other. So I somehow don't subscribe to such situations, such behavior from the student. They should learn how to learn maximum from their teachers, and whatever subject they have taken, whatever discipline they have taken, do well, excel well. And then if you want to choose a political career, do it later. First you
Huh.
earn what you are supposed to earn at that age of time.
Okay. Sir, my question is how to cover yourself with these, how cover yourself in that manner that these circumstances will not hurt you. So how to defend yourself? Because at that point of time, how to make yourself very much secure that these circumstances will not hamper your mindset, whether it is the choice of friends you make or the choice of surroundings you are being in. How to just cover yourself without this different element is affecting you.
Very simple, Hosala, is very simple. You see, you should remain focused. You should always remember that your parents have sent you that particular institute or institution to make your life. Also remember कि माँ बाप कितनी मेहनत से कमा के आपके ऊपर पैसा खर्च कर. Okay, if they are giving you the fees to for the academic fees, they are giving you money to stay in the hostel. You should always see that how much blood has gone into, how much sweat and blood has gone by the parents to make you reach there. So if you have that thing in mind, that my parents are spending on me after working so hard, so then you should always have in mind, I should not waste that money and the time. And most important is, you see, जिंदगी में सब कुछ आपको मिल सकता है, लेकिन टाइम वापस नहीं आता है. टाइम जो आपका निकल गया, that will never revert, that will never come back. So time is the only thing which is not unlimited. Everything is unlimited. Even the money is unlimited in the world. There is a time which is not unlimited. It is limited with you. So if the time is of that study, making your life, making your career, do well during the student time, if you keep that thing in mind, ये टाइम वापस नहीं आएगा. एक बार आपका वो एज लिमिट निकल गया यदि यूपीएससी में अपियर होने का, that will never come back. So if you have these thought in your mind, you will never get into such problem, or you will not get affected by others people also. Because if you are neutral, if you are focused on your thought process, on your requirement, on your life, on your career, then nobody else is bothered about what you are doing in your room, what you are not doing in your room. Nobody will pull you back. Unless you side with somebody or not side with somebody, unless you yourself want to become a part of such characters, I will always suggest that keep away from such characters and think of that what time you are investing will never come back. At the same time, what money your parents are spending on you is very hard-earned money. So if you have these two thoughts in your mind, I think you will not get into any trouble.
Yes, sir. Understood. Sir, and one of my personal question I wanted to ask you, sir. Sir, how was your relationship with your father? Because what I really face is at that point of time from 18 to 25, there will be a lot of difference of opinion between you and your father. It might be because of any reason. So I wanted to know that how was your relationship with your father? Whether it was very good or it was like there was always a rift between your mind thought process and his thought process.
See, one thing you must realize, and earlier you realize better it is, that your life is your responsibility, your obligation, your duty towards your success and your happiness. Nobody else. Neither of your parents, nor of your teacher, nor of your friends, nor of your wife, nor of your children. It is solely you are responsible for your own life. So, what relationship you have with anybody or you don't have with anybody, it may affect you. Environment may be different, but what life you want, it is solely depends on you. And you can only make or break the life. Nobody else can make or break the life. If you are decided, if you are committed to make your life wonderful, you can make it. Whatever relationship you have, your mother, father, or anybody else, yes, it may create a hurdles. It may bring you little unhappiness or little difficulties in life. But if you are committed, if you are persistent, perseverance, then nobody can stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. So it doesn't make a difference what relationship you have with anybody, because solely it depends on you how you steer your life. You have to sit on the driver's seat of your life. You are the driver of your life, nobody else. And so long as you are sitting on the driver's seat of your life, I think nobody else can take your life to left or right. You have to drive it straight.
Sir, I was actually reading a book of Shankaracharya. And Shankaracharya says that you as a person is the byproduct of your surroundings.
Hoysala, what is this sound, cracking sound, tick 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 tick, beach beach mein aa rahi hai? Are you getting it or I am
No,
only
sir.
getting it?
You're only getting it. I'm not getting it.
So I think there is something with the this. I do it on the Zoom. I never get such sound. It's always in between. It's going tick 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 tick, जैसे something ना.
Because I am getting
Anyway,
that sound, sir. I don't.
okay, I'm getting it. Anyway, no issue.
Okay.
Continue.
Sir, my question is, sir, I was actually reading a book about Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya ji
अच्छा, this
says
sound,
that,
see, listen. This sound is coming when you are speaking.
okay,
Whenever you are
hello,
speaking, then this cracking sound is coming.
sir, now also?
Now it's okay. Now it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sir,
Go ahead.
I was actually reading a book of Shankaracharya,
Okay.
and Shankaracharya ji says that, is very clearly stated, he says that you are the byproduct of your surroundings. You are living in.
Yes, you're right. Environment is very important.
Yeah.
Environment is very important. There is no doubt in that. I already said
Okay.
environment is important. That can put you off. That can uh, create a hurdles for you. Okay, there is no doubt in that. But again, it is in your hand to change the environment. You can change the environment. You can take, again I said, you sit on the driver's seat. If the environment is very toxic, detach from there. Take a hard decision. Take a hard decision.
Okay. So why
Ultimately,
I
it is your
ask this?
life.
Huh.
Yeah.
Sir, because at that point of in my life, around 20 to 22, I suffered the same problems where I used to feel every day that the environment I staying are not understanding me because how much positive it's not about the positiveness, they are not resonating with my mindset because I don't know what was happening, and I always used to feel left behind, and I always used to feel like I'm not even understanding and I could not be my best self of my version. So what advice you give for that type of students who are being in that situation, how they can overcome that situation, sir?
See, see, the best advice in this case is don't try to change others. Don't try to change others, and you can never change others. You can only change yourself. You can change environment, you can change yourself, you can adjust yourself. Don't try to change others. If you try doing that, you will never succeed.
Okay, sir.
Because in today's world or otherwise, idea is that it is me who should amend myself. Similarly, it goes to you. You should amend yourself. When everybody amends each other, then there is no conflict. The conflict is when I try to change you and you try to change me. So tell me, it is easy to change me myself, or is it easy for me to change you? So I can change myself, you can change yourself. But if I try to change you and you try to change me, there will always be a conflict.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
don't try that.
I understand.
Don't try that. You will never be
Okay.
happy. You will always be frustrated if you try others, if you try changing others. Change yourself as per the environment.
Yes, sir. So it was great, sir. And moving forward, sir, I want to just now know, you told me that you had an inclination towards army from your childhood itself. And why did you not join army you immediately after engineering? And why did you think of pursuing a MTech from IIT, which is again one of the
Yeah,
prestigious institutions?
yeah. You see, I tried. I tried joining army uh, immediately after my 12th, or rather, while I was studying in 12th. I appeared twice for NDA, twice or thrice I NDA. but I failed. I could not succeed. Okay, I could not crack the written examination itself. Though every exam I did better, I got better marks than every exam, but I did not cut off. I did not get into the cutoff of the merit list. So my parents said that okay. In the meantime, I got admission in the Aligarh Muslim University, and my parent did not send me there because there were a lot of riots. Hindu-Muslim riots used to be there. And that I'm talking of as late as 1979 or 80. Okay. So when they said, okay, you go for engineering, then I went for this 3-year diploma course first, and thereafter I worked and gone for the engineering. But somewhere in the back of mind, I always had this desire to be part of the armed forces. बचपन में कुछ चीजें जो अट्रैक्ट करती है ना, वो आपके पीछे कहीं जहन में घुसी रहती हैं. Okay, so that feeling of that कि how disciplined they are, how good looking they army officers are, how beautifully they speak, how beautifully they interact, okay, how smartly they turned out, everything used to impress me. So that was somewhere sitting in my mind. So when I was working in HAL, I worked for 2 years. Then I came to Delhi. When I came to Delhi, I appeared for civil services exam, and I appeared for the preliminary exam of the civil services. Okay. By the time my graduation was over, I finished 2 years, and then I passed all the papers, and my graduation was complete. So I appeared for the preliminary of civil services. In the meantime, there was advertisement for the technical graduate entry, TGC. And I went there, and I didn't have any background of my parents. Nobody was there in my family who was in the army, except that relative of mine. And I just went there against the wishes of my parents, because I, being an only son, they never wanted me to join armed forces. And that too, I was working fantastically, because I was in HAL for 2 years, again a government job. I was in Department of Electronics in Delhi, ERTL, Electronics Regional Test Laboratory, again this Government of India job. So they said, Ki, you are already working. Why the hell you want to leave and go to the army? And that too, we are all alone. Thereafter, who will? So I told them, my parents, let me just go. I want to appear and just see for myself whether I can make it or not. That was my idea. Just to convince them. Yes, heart of heart, I wanted to join. But to convince my parents, I only told that I want to check myself whether I can. Because that was the time when I used to apply 10 places. I was not satisfied whether HAL or whether this Department of Electronics. Even in the meantime, I got selected in railways. I got selected in Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Bombay. But at any one point in time, you can work at one place only. So I was not getting satisfied कि करना क्या है जिंदगी में, because I was a kind of a person who is outdoor person. I don't want to sit in a lab, because HAL also I was sitting in the lab, working in the lab. Then Delhi also, Department of Electronics, again it was a lab. I was working there. So I used to apply it. Similarly, I appeared for civil services. Similarly, I wanted to see that whether I can make it to armed forces or not. So I went, because that time they used to give second class fare for going and coming, attending the SSB, and they used to even give you that 5 days stay also. And I went there. Luck would have it, I told my mother that I will come back in 5 days, or maybe if you don't get qualified for psychometric test, then you may come very first day. So, but luck would have it, I cleared initial days, and then only 5 days, everything was cleared. Even interview got cleared. Then I got held up for medical. Okay. So this is the way the journey went on. And finally, when I came back, and I told my mother that, because she was concerned, that time there were no mobile, nothing. And she was wondering that he told me only for 1 or 2 days, and now it is just more than 7 days. what exactly went wrong. When I came, I got a lot of scolding my mother, and I told her that she said that you were saying that you just wanted to check, but now you are hell bent upon to joining this. So I said, I may get or may not get selected in the civil services, but getting selected in the army after so much of uh, 5 days of this SSB and thereafter ever another 7 days of medical, you may not get through in this kind of organization, never, if you don't join now. So somehow then I could convince them, and finally, rest is the history.
Okay, sir. Sir, now I'm very much interested to know how was your life in IIT Kharagpur? Because I was also aspirant. I also wrote my JEE. I could clear my mains, but I could not clear my advance. I could not clear my
Okay.
advance in after my 12th. But I want to just know what is your experience in IIT Kharagpur?
See, I went to IIT Kharagpur after commissioning. I was commissioned in that,
Oh,
and then
okay.
okay, okay, I went from the army. Okay,
Okay.
and that experience was extremely wonderful.
Okay.
Means you know the takeoff level in IIT was here, and the background of ours was here. So we have to bridge first this gap we have to cover. At the same time, we have
Yeah.
to move ahead.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So
yes.
initial 6 months was a terrible, terrific, or terrible, I must say. Very difficult. Matlab, the kind of takeoff level of mathematics and the other things is there is entirely different. They know engineering colleges must be starting from there, except the IITs. Okay. So,
Okay.
but notwithstanding, the army people who goes, they know how to handle the pressure. So we used to work very hard. We used to work very hard. And let me tell you, for your information, that out of entire class, we were two army officers in that class. The rest were the civil student, and we both were topped. We
Okay.
both topped the that course of MTech.
Good, sir.
And
Very good.
yeah, and that CGPA we got is that 8.74.
Wow. 8.74.
Yes,
I don't
that
have
was the
this CGPA
CGPA.
in my engineering also, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So that is what I'm saying, that we worked so hard that we not only covered this gap which we were having, and then we moved ahead. So we have to simultaneously cover whatever is being taught new, and whatever we are not aware of, those things which we were covering simultaneously. But it was a lot of hard work. We never moved out anywhere, and 6 months was something, because if you don't make that in the first semester, that is the condition in IIT. If you don't get
Okay.
6.5 CGPA in the first semester, then you are sent back.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
in the first semester, we could hardly manage 7 point, I think 4 or something CGPA. But then we picked up. Then we picked up thereafter.
Sir, now you got commissioned, you cleared your SSB boards. Do you have anything, insights to say about the people who are preparing for service selection boards? How they have to project
Perfect.
themselves, or do you have any learnings?
Yes, lot I have to tell. See, the first thing is that you must know you can't fool them. Those people who are examining you, you can't fool them. So be truthful to yourself. Be what you are. Be natural. Don't try to fabricate. And not only that, also you must know that some people go with the idea कि अभी तो मैं SSB जा रहा हूँ, मैं तो अफसर बन गया. So they start pretending like as if they are the officer. And that is where they suffer. You know why? SSB, what is they are trying to do? This is the learning which I got it when I went, because I didn't have anybody to tell me what to do or what not to do. And that's was my first SSB. Somebody else has gone before me who was rejected. He gave me a small booklet that used to come from a competition success review. It was a for
Ah,
SSB, but competition success review booklet. Okay, and
Yes,
I
sir.
just read that was the only background I had. Okay, CSR. But one very good advice one person gave me, I don't remember who was that. He said, you see, what SSB is finding out that whether you are like a torch without cell, they just want to
Hmm.
see that you are equivalent to a torch where there is no battery. Battery to academy will put it. Academy will put it and switch on, and then you will be lighting. But they want to see whether you are worth khoka. Means are you ready to become an officer? You are not an officer.
Right.
They are not looking for an
Okay.
officer. They are looking for, can you be made as an officer? Do you
Good.
have those basic fundamental qualities of becoming an officer? And those qualities are, do you have a courage to take risk? Do you have quality of commitment? Do you have quality of perseverance? Do you have quality of consistency? Are you consistent? And most important is what they check when there is a psychological test. They check what you are thinking, what you are speaking, and what you are doing. Is all three coherent or not?
Okay.
Because if there is a gap in any of the thing, they know that you are fabricating. Because if you are an original person, then your thought, your speaking, and your doing on ground will be the same.
Okay.
So
Sir, how
don't try
about
to manipulate. Be original.
okay. The whole point what you're saying is don't try to fool or be original. Just project what you are. Don't try to
What you are.
fake that.
You are. What? Yes. Because you can't hide. You can't hide from them. When you try to hide them, you will be caught. And they will not tell you. They will reject you.
Yeah. Sir, tell me, sir, after clearing this SSB procedure, you finally went to academy, basically from IMA, right?
Yes.
How
Yes.
was how was that cultural shock to you? How do you define the IMA from the person who is from non-defense background? How was IMA? How was the experience in academy?
See, Hosla, I really enjoyed it because I was prepared and I wanted to be there always. Okay, so I didn't get any shock as such, except that your uh, outlook was changed. Your the day you reached, your hair was cut and you made like a different person. Means absolutely different. Means my father also could not recognize me for a moment when he saw me after a few days. Okay.
Okay.
So I was not having a shock as such, but yes, you are right. Ours was a technical course, and most of them come as if after engineering, having a lot of aspiration that when we will join, we will have a one helper, we will have a gadi, we will have a office to sit down. So some people from South India came with this notion that we will have all these things. Okay, probably they may not be having the idea of academy and all. And once they were made to front roll and they were undergone some punishment or something, some of the people left and gone back because they had to say, where is my helper? Where is my office? Where is my gadi? Okay, that was that some people really got a shock of it, and but I enjoyed throughout. And let me tell you, if you are physically fit, you won't find difficulty. And I was good at running, sunning, and all. I always used to come first, second, third, and closer at the most. And that is the reason I could pass all the test. And one more important thing I can tell you is that I never had any punishment throughout my 1 year. That must be the
Really?
record. Not a single
Really?
punishment.
IMA.
Yes, yes,
Wow,
not
sir.
a single.
So,
Not
wow.
even a heckle order is the simplest punishment. Not even heckle order.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
So
the first person who I am finding that who said this.
yes, I never had.
How
I,
how
it
you
is not
maintain
that
that, sir?
I, it is not that I was not caught and I did not do a mistake. Once I did a one mistake, and that day itself I was caught. But ऊपर वाले की मेहर थी कि वो DS ने वो आया ही नहीं, उसने जब बुलाया रिपोर्ट करने के लिए, reported there and he never came back. So we all came back and thereafter he never remembered कि we missed it. And वो जो DS है आजकल हमें, he is also settled in Gurgaon only, that DS. We used to meet on the during the walking time, and I tell this incident to him, so he will. Yeah, I was very good at HUD, but he was a big bullshitter, very big abuser. But somehow he said, "You come report to me next day." We went there morning till lunchtime. We kept on waiting for him. He never came. After we also came back, and he never asked. So that was the way we saved. But otherwise, there were no incidents, so I never did any punishment in the entire 1 year.
Sir, keeping the punishment part, keeping the punishment part aside, so what did the academy really inculcated in you, which you carry now also?
See, the few most important thing which academy teaches you. First thing is the time is very important. Time is very important. In a single day, how much activity you used to do? How many activities? You attend the classes, then you go to the stand, attend the demonstration, then you come back, go to this cross country, come back, go to the swimming pool, jump into the swimming pool, get out of that, again go back to the cabin, change, again some activity. Means the same period of time, how we waste time outside, whereas that same academy, how important is the time? There's one thing one must understand. Can you believe it? In 2 minutes, you can change from one dress to another dress and be on time at some place of appointment in 2 minutes. Everything you can do in 2 minutes. You change, dress up well without any fault, and you be ready. That is taught in academy only. The importance of time, the discipline is so ingrained, so ingrained. If somebody tells me you got a 5 minute and you change and you have to be at that place, I feel 5 minutes is more than enough. Don't worry, I will be there.
Okay. So after academy, sir, which was your choice of this one? Choice of regiment? What did you choose actually? You chose infantry or artillery?
That is again a very interesting story. Is that, you see, in my batch we were 3 people who got selected in SSB out of I think 100-200 people who appeared that day. We were only 3 got selected. My chess number was 6, and there was one more officer who was again a BTech, and we were very good friends. We used to every evening after the SSB thing is over in the day, we used to go for the walk and the evening. And mine was in Bhopal, so we used to go to lake and other places to enjoy. Now, when we joined academy, this guy, hello.
Sir, during your period, were you allowed to go outside of? During your period, you were allowed to go outside of the SSB ward?
Yes. Evening you are allowed to go.
Okay, but SSB, now we can't, sir.
Acha, okay, I don't know. So we were allowed to go. I think we went. I think 2-3 days we went. 2 or 3 days we went. Okay, but that was a particular time. Only after everything was over.
Okay.
So this 2 of us were in the academy. Third one, I don't know whether he joined or not. Now this gentleman, he opted for EME. Sorry, he opted for signals, and I opted for EME, and he opted for signals. Okay. And why he opted for signals? Because he was very fond of joining communication, and I opted for EME because I was very fond of joining electronics, because I was from the electronics, basically electronics. Now, when the results were out, when your arms and services get allotted, and you are given that result is declared. So I got signals and he got EME,
Okay.
which always happens. Which always happens. It always happens. And then rest is the history. I enjoyed the signals. It's a wonderful arm. There is no doubt in that. Whatever we are today is because of that core of signals only. And it's the most sophisticated, on I must say, and most advanced arms of Indian Army, core of signals.
Okay. So, where was your first posting?
Batinda, Batinda, Punjab.
Punjab. Yeah. Okay, sir. Sir, what was
There is
your
another issue.
so pardon,
What
sir?
was?
How was your
You
welcome
said
in
what
your
was?
first regiment?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you, that welcome was also very interesting. you know, we reached Batinda. This train used to reach around 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, and the train was Udyan Ava, which used to go from Delhi to Batinda. So
Okay.
somebody came to pick us up, one jeep, and there was two NCUs were there, two vans were there. And Batinda Kent is, that time used to be porous. Uh, it is a huge, biggest cantonment in Asia, which we used to call that time. And uh, all sides there are villages and all. So there were some gates, TCP, which call it a TCP. And that TCP, when we
Okay.
stopped, they used to enter that, yes, which vehicle is getting inside and all. They know who has come. So they note down all the details. So there, one of the Jawan asking me, sir, वो आपको अपना आई कार्ड दिखाना पड़ेगा. And this I card issued by the Indian Military Academy, and we gave the I card. And that I
Okay.
card, he kept it. And then we moved on. And I card was not given back to us. Once we reached the unit, the one officer, he called us and he said, yes, what's your name? I said, Lieutenant so and so. He said, we don't know. Who are you? How do we know that you are a lieutenant? How do we know that you are a militant? That time, it was a thick of militancy in Punjab. I'm talking back in 87. Okay, the Punjab militancy. So I said, we had a I card. This was taken at the TCP and they wanted to check and we given to them. So get it from them. Now we were put in the spin. To the extent we were about to cry because it was a militancy there. There you can't afford to give your I card because that can be misused. And they said that we don't recognize you. We don't say that you're an officer. Unless you prove, unless you show your I card, we cannot take you. Please find out. Now,
Okay.
I started, say, let me speak to my Fupaji and, how do you prove that you are the one? And we don't know anybody there. So once they realize that we are on the verge of crying now,
Ah,
okay, then they said, never give your I card to anyone. And that is the first learning that give you in the army, that I card is the one thing which is not to be shared with anyone in entire life. And we did not do that.
oh,
Only the
okay.
last day of the army, the I card was given for destruction. So
Okay.
there are two things in the army which it taught very first day. One thing is that you should never share your I card with anyone. Number one. Number two, you should never remove the weapon from your body.
Okay.
You can forget and lose your wife, spouse, but you can never lose your I card and weapon. That is the
Got it.
learning they give.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So this was your welcoming to the regiment.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, sir, in regiment, how did they make see like every regiment have their own culture, so that every officer has to go and learn about every soldiers in the regiment and every routine of a soldier. How was that experience?
Yeah, Hoysala, let me just connect my charger.
Sir, you got switched off?
Yeah, the charger got discharged, so I am going to connect it.
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir. I was just asking you about how did the regiment you gone through, how did you cope up with the routine of the soldiers? As every regiment has its own culture, how did the regiment make you understand its culture?
See, initially, what we are made, because in the communication, the core of signal, that time, what used to be there is uh, it was a lines. It was a line communication, more of a line communication than the wireless communication. Okay. So there used to be the line parties to maintain the lines of communication. Okay. So when we were in Bathinda, then entire route of communication was from Bathinda to Suratgarh to the Bikaner. And this was the route where most of the time we were sent on the line party along with those Jawans and JCOs. We were sent in the this vehicle, and we used to see, we used to do in our own hands to make the joints, to see that how the cables are drawn, to see that how the communication is put through, how the equipment is installed, and the communication is made through. So the various places we were made to learn. So once in the line party, then we were made to sit in the exchanges with the operators, that how communication is done. Then we were made to sit with the exchanges where the messages are being sent. So there is a voice communication where the operator used to sit on the exchange. Then there is a signal center where the messages are sent. There we were made to learn along with the Jawans that how the things are done. And then in the evenings, we were made to be with the Jawans in their langars, go with in the langars, have their food, see that what they are eating, how they are eating, share their food. So you basically made to learn how our Jawans are living, how they are doing, what duties they are doing. So that when you have to supervise them, you know everything, that what duties they do and how they do. Unless you know those difficulties, you may not appreciate their work, and you may not be able to guide them properly. Though we learned many things in the institutes, but on ground the things are different, and we are made to learn those things on ground. Then only you are given independent charge of leading those troops into the operational condition.
Okay. Sir, any interesting story you have that when you are an officer, like when you are a captain or a major, your decision or your tiny decision has very much improved the condition of that thing.
There are many incidents, but I would like to share one incident which is of operational importance and how
Sure,
situation
sir.
was saved. I
Okay.
would share that. It was exercise was Ranwankura. Exercise Ranwankura was being conducted, and that was in the area of Suratgarh, and entire stretch from Suratgarh to the Bikaner, where all Satta sir, Rajia sir, Lunkan sir, all places are there. Okay, where it's full of desert. It's mostly the desert area. So our
Okay.
responsibility was from Bathinda to Bikaner, put a radio communication through. So what you call a cell,
Mhm.
na? Aajkal cell site where you say tower is there or not. So like that we create a tower. Okay,
Okay.
vehicle based towers. We create every 20 kilometer. And I was the OC, officer in charge of that chain, radio chain from Bathinda to Bikaner,
Okay.
which is around maybe 150 or 200 kilometers. So, so there were 7, 8 stations in between, and every station I used to go and check whether the logistic is there okay, equipments are okay, communication is through, there is no other problem in communication. That was my responsibility to see to it that communication are through 24/7 without any fail. And that is possible when, because all the detachment, all these vehicle in which we call it a tower, or in army we call it a radio stations.
Okay.
So you should have adequate fuel to run the generator, because there is no electricity and it's a wartime situation, means exercise.
Yeah.
So one place when I went one day in the evening, and I just went as a checking that yes, everything is okay. So I was watching. I reached that detachment, and I was around 10 meters from that detachment where the communication was going on. Means there are two vehicles of communication. Within that there are equipment, and this equipment, one is transmitting, another receiving. So the chain is through both sides. This side also, this side also. And uh, so you said there is a one communication vehicle here, and I am 10 meters away in a jeep and watching that yes, vehicle is standing and the work is going on. Similarly, on the right side, mein, there is another vehicle standing, which is one ton, we call it a chota truck. If you tell it in the civil language, it's a chota wala truck. And it is called a one ton, where there was a fuel in that, diesel, petrol, and all these things to replenish the generators which are already running, because you need every evening that replenishment. Now, this guy from the one ton, he was pouring that fuel into some container which was on the ground. So when he was pouring it, because they don't have any pipe, anything, they were just pouring it like this. So it was pilfering, okay, it was falling. सारा फ्यूल बजाय कंटेनर में जाने के थोड़ा बहुत इधर उधर गिर रहा था. One guy who was in front in the communication vehicle, he thought ki, and it was about to getting dark. So he came with that kerosene lantern. I know you know that kerosene lantern. जिसमें
Yeah.
wick लगा के,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that lantern. So he came with that. It was covered with the glass and all, कि जिससे कि वो फ्यूल और ज्यादा न गिरे और दिखाई दे उसको, क्योंकि अंधेरा हो रहा था धीमे धीमे. इट वाज गेटिंग डार्क. बट जैसे ही वो उसके पास पहुंचा, द मोमेंट ही रीच देयर, बिकॉज सिंस इट इज डेजर्ट, it was a summer season where the temperature goes as high as 50 degrees centigrade. So there were fumes of fuel in the environment. The moment he reached there, the fumes caught fire and the entire vehicle on fire. Entire vehicle on fire immediately. And I am watching 10 meter this side. Samne 10 meter is communication is going on, and right side mein 10 meter dur, it is like a triangle, and this vehicle on fire. So everybody, those two guys who were there on this thing, they also jumped, they also run away. And those guys who were filling up, they also run away. Everybody started running away. And that is the time, it was my reaction or my response or sixth sense, that instead of running away from that burning vehicle, I ran toward the burning vehicle. And something stuck to my mind. I started throwing the sand. That is what we have seen in the life. I started throwing, because wahan sandy sand, it was a desert. I started throwing sand on that vehicle, and sand गिराने के साथ साथ, फेंकने के साथ साथ, I started shouting also, come back, red डालो. That was my talk at the top of my voice. So when they saw कि कप्तान साहब ये काम कर रहे हैं, कैप्टन साहब कर रहे हैं, और so everybody came back. जो सब दौड़ रहे थे दूर, they all came back. And मेरे साथ में देख के they also started throwing the sand. So within 30 or 45 seconds, we extinguished the fire. Otherwise, that situation would have been, I would have been court martial and not sitting in front of you. So that is one incident I can never forget, and that shows, there are many lessons from this incident. The first is that whenever there is a crisis, you should never react. You should respond to the situation. The reaction was that everybody ran away from there. But the response is that you should take action to quench that or extinguish that fire, not run away from there.
Yes.
So this is one incident which I can narrate to you, that how you can come across such scenario where you can't predict what will happen.
So now I want to know, after everything, after the extinguishing of fire and all, what was the talk between people? What was the funny talk?
See, though nobody talked to me anything when I reached in the unit, and I'm sure if something would have gone wrong, whether to the equipment or to the vehicle or to the man, then definitely there have been court of inquiry. There were no doubt court of inquiry, and I would have been the victim of that. But since everything went well, there were no issue. Nobody wanted to discuss thereafter. Nobody wanted to discuss.
Good, sir. Sir, which was the tenure in army which you really enjoyed a lot? Which tenure did you enjoy a lot?
Which tenure I enjoyed the lot? You mean to say that?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Perfect, perfect.
Yes. See, there were two tenure which we enjoyed the most professionally.
Okay.
One, I was in Manipur, which was my unit 57 Dip Signal Regiment in Limakong. That was the most professionally satisfying tenure. Okay, where every day there was a communication issue. वहां से इक्विपमेंट लाना, वहां पहुंचाना, कभी हेलीकॉप्टर में लेके वहां पहुंचाना, हेलीकॉप्टर में लेके अभी वहां इक्विपमेंट खराब हो गया, तुरंत हेलीकॉप्टर आया, आपने यहाँ से उठाया, जिप्सी में रखा, हेलीपैड पे पहुंचे और वहां से फिर हेप्टर में रखा और किसी को दिया और वापस आ गए. So that was most satisfying. तो उधर था, and that was Limakong, place in Limakong in northeast in Imphal, Manipur. And another tenure professionally satisfying was 8 Dip Signal Regiment, जहाँ I was a 2IC, second in command. That was in near Leh, place called Nimu. That was another wonderful unit, and where I really enjoyed serving that. So both were operational, this thing, in the field. And in the field, the best part is that you are only doing professional tasks. There is no undefined job. That is the difference. Academically, if you say, academically I enjoyed was in the MCT when I was an instructor. After MTech, I was posted as an instructor in Military College of Telecommunication, where I taught the MTech people.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Sir, can you just still more speak about the culture and life in Manipur? So that, because I'm asking you this question because recently, as you know, that there was many riots in Manipur. But I just wanted to know how are the people and what is that culture in Northeast? What is that culture? How is it? Because you have served over there, you will be much more aware about the things. I just want to know about it.
See, the people of Northeast are wonderful people. They are beautiful people, I must say, and they are not careless type people. मतलब ज़्यादा उनको नहीं चाहिए जिंदगी में कुछ. You see, normal people I've seen, उसको थोड़ा खाने को मिल जाए, उसको थोड़ा पहनने को मिल जाए, and they are happy lot. वो अपना उन्होंने कुछ काम मिलना चाहिए उनको, and they live beautifully. अच्छा कपड़े पहनेंगे, अच्छा खाएंगे पिएंगे, and they are not in the habit of accumulating बहुत ज्यादा उसमें नहीं है. But they are a good sports person. Sports में फुटबॉल हुआ, कोई भी sports हुआ, they will take a lot of pleasure in playing those. But whatever is happening, it's all political. People want to grab the power there. Okay. This militancy is not a nature of the common people living there. They are very peaceful, loving people.
Okay.
This whatever is happening right now is because of power grabbing or looting. Basically, they want to loot the people, wealth of the state and keep it with you. It's a organized crime of looting the people.
Okay. So why do you think that it is
Common
done,
man,
sir?
common man doesn't want anything like that.
So why do you think that these type of situation are created?
Again, I said, no, vested interest, political vested interest. Everybody wants to control. Everybody wants to uh, be quick rich. So these are the militant group. They are running the racket of drugs, running the racket of extortion. That is the biggest
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
They are the criminals, basically. They are the criminals. Now
Okay.
that they don't have that kind of earlier they used to have some ethos, some principles, and some uh, goal to achieve. But now I don't think it is that.
Okay. Sir, do you really think that army is a apolitical organization? There is no influence of politics in army?
It is. It is. If it is not apolitical, then God save. It's a political organization. It's the only organization in this country which is apolitical.
Okay, sir. How does this politics really hamper the culture and ethos of army, sir?
Say again.
How does this political stance really hampers the culture and ethos of army?
It can't affect. It can't affect. In army, doesn't affect. Political
Okay,
scenario doesn't affect an army. Doesn't affect.
okay, okay.
Army has got its very well defined role, and we don't know
Right.
more than that. We stick to that. It doesn't affect. Yes, political masters are there. We have to follow whatever we are told in the interest of the nation, but we don't get affected by the what politics is going around outside. We don't get affected.
Good, good. So, for example, sir, I want to just give you a scenario where you are a wholesale leader of you're leading a troop, basically, and you are given a task to conquer some hill or some area. And when you brief that to your own team, you are sending a person who has no relationship with the hill or something, but still is going there and lending his life for that. How do you see this?
See, there are few things are there. First thing is that Indian Army soldier is living for Namak and Nishan and the
Okay,
nation.
okay,
तो एक तो अपनी यूनिट का नाम इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट देन
yeah,
नेशन
okay,
and then the people of nation. So for that he is ready to sacrifice himself. If he doesn't sacrifice, then who is going to sacrifice? Tomorrow the adversaries or the enemy will come and sit in our places. So
okay,
for the sake of our people, we sacrifice our today. We sacrifice our today. That is the only way. And there's nothing more important than the name of the unit or name of the our soldiers or name of our comrades, taking care of our comrades. So it is ingrained. It is ingrained when you go through those training and everything. Na, it is ingrained in your mind. See, ये तो बहुत बड़ी बात है देश this thing जब when the competition takes place, अपने ट्रुप या अपने ग्रुप या अपने स्क्वाड्रन के लिए पीपल फाइट like as if this is the only thing for me, which happens in
okay.
academies also, this thing. So when you are on the war, that is the time to your unit is something like you can sacrifice anything for the unit, and ultimately it is nation.
Good, sir. Sir, I was just going through your different podcast because I was very much interested in your podcast. I was going through different podcasts. Sir, I want to just know, in the particular podcast with a special forces veteran, you say that you are in a region where you are recording the tapes of the enemies in the signals,
It's of
tapes of the communication between the enemy and military ranks. You used to record and the tapes and disc and used to store them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
can you just say me how the conversation would be? कौन सी
How
भाषा
the
में बात करते हैं? How the conversation would be?
ah oh, so which podcast you are referring to otherwise?
Sir, I am referring to a podcast of veteran of Abhay Sapru, sir.
Okay, good. So you see, this organization where I was posted and working there,
Yes, sir.
जिस तरीके से हमारा डीओटी का चैनल होता है ना, डीओटी की लाइंस होती हैं, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ
Yes,
इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स की लाइन होती है ना डीओटी की, ओके,
yes, sir.
माइक्रोवेव कम्युनिकेशन होता है हमारा, ऐसे ही पाकिस्तान का भी माइक्रोवेव कम्युनिकेशन होता है. So Pakistan ka the microwave communication, when you sometime you can pick them up because some radiation is there. Always the conductor is going and there is a current going flow through this. There is a radiation out of that. And if that radiation is picked up and you can demultiplex that, then you can get some channels or some voice communication. So normally these guys speak either Pushto. Pushto is the language of in the Kashmir it is spoken, okay, or the language of Arabi, which is sometime from the Pakistan. Okay, so depending upon that, what area that militant or that area of person who is speaking on that channel belongs to. So it could be any Pakistani language, any Arabi or Pushto, and वही same salam alaikum, alaikum salam kind of thing. You start the conversation and see that. So this is the kind of communication we used to record. But very funny communication sometimes, very funny, very personal communication also sometimes. And he's talking to his girlfriend or his wife or something like that. All kind of thing, because it's a civilian channel, it's a civil line. Okay, normally DOT lines are civil lines. So and it is non-encrypted. There is no encryption on that. So you can easily listen to. Only you have to demultiplicate and listen to that. So that is the kind of recording. But out of this communication, you get brilliant intelligence. So who is there where?
Okay. Can you share some funny communications, if you remember?
Yes, very funny. The multiple funny communication. Multiple funny.
Can
Fighting
you
has
share
been
any one?
fighting. Specifically, I won't be able to specify right now because that is not a correct way of doing it. But I can only hint you that you will find some husband wife fighting with each other, or that person is talking to a girlfriend who is already married, something like that. So such kind of communication you intercept sometimes.
Good. Okay, sir. Sir, now, sir, what was that moment in army you felt that I have to withdraw from this organization and I have to go out of this organization? What was that? What was that moment? When did you
Come
felt?
again. Your question I'm not able to clear. आवाज clear नहीं आई. दोबारा बताओ.
Sir, which was that moment where you found yourself saturated with this army and you wanted to come out of this organization?
Oh, okay. So you see, why I did come out from army is that I completed by then around 22 years. Okay,
Yes.
and my parents were growing old. They were having multiple issues. They were all alone for last 25 years. Then at the same time, my children were growing. They were coming into the 8th class and all. And here we were, every 2 years we were changing the schooling and the colleges. Okay. So it was becoming difficult managing that. And that is the time I decided that I have already given 23 years or so to the armed forces. Let me do something now outside so that I can take care of my parents. I can take care of my family, children. And that was the only thing. And I was not looking forward to anything further. Okay. And so 2008 I decided that. But the day I decided this, I already had 3 jobs at my hand. And the day I left it, 26th October 2008, And 1st November, I joined in the corporate at the place where I had my flat, same place, and I continued for 13 years at the same place. So I did not face any difficulty of transitioning from uniform to the civil life.
Okay. Sir, any message you want to give to the veterans who are just coming out of the army, how to just adapt, or what should be the process, or what should be the exact work to be done before leaving the army?
First of all, is that you should not just leave it like that. You should prepare. You should prepare yourself what you want to do outside.
Yeah.
So like if you plan to leave 2 years from now, so at least 1 year in advance, you should prepare yourself in terms of that what role you want to play, what you should prepare your resume accordingly, and then learn about that field through the website, through the internet, wherever you want to. Whether you want to go in communication, you want to go in the security, or you want to go in management, anything you want to go, or some academics, acquire those skills before you finally leave it. Have some skills. See, army teaches you a lot. So do some courses like army make you do that 6-month MBA course that helps you in learning the jargons of management. Okay. In our case, like I already done the MTech, so I had a lot of benefit of that communication then already, and we had experience of communication for last 20-25 years. But there is a need to preparation beforehand. Whatever field you want to go in, you must prepare yourself. Just don't jump in like that. Secondly, that you should have a belief in yourself. You are capable of doing anything for that matter. Don't show desperation. When you come into the corporate world, don't show your desperation that at any cost you want this or that, and don't undermine your capabilities. Don't sell yourself for a cheap. Whatever they pay and you take it. Have confidence in yourself. Have a value of yourself. Because you are not struggling anything. Once you come after 20 years, you are having a handsome pension. So why to underestimate yourself? Why to show your desperation that yes, at any cost you wanted this? Don't undervalue. Have a respectable job. And one more important thing which I will say, take that job where your quality of life is compromised. What I mean to say is that quality of life don't compromise, that you should have time for yourself. In the evening and morning, at least you should have time for yourself for walk, so that your health doesn't deteriorate. Because after retirement, most important thing is your health. If you are not able to manage your health just because that you want to join a good corporate, then it's not worth it. I feel that is my way, my views.
Sir, at last of this podcast, there are many things to just grasp from you or just to extract from you. I will be doing another important podcast than this podcast. That is your second innings. As a mentor, how do you actually mentor this one? This will be your second podcast I will be coming up with you.
Right now, you want me answer?
No, sir. I am just I have this last question for you because I have many things to still talk to you because it has already been 1.5 hours and it will be a
So,
long podcast.
so your question is that
Uh,
how do I mentor it?
No, sir. We will have that separate podcast. We'll have that separate podcast, the mentoring session,
Okay.
part 2 of your life, which is still more
Okay. So
exciting.
any question now?
Yes, sir. My last question is any great learning from army, any which is very important learnings from army, which you are still implementing in your life so that your life is running very smooth.
Yeah. So the most important learning from the army, which I still implementing and following it very religiously, keep yourself fit, come what may.
Wow.
Because then nothing is more important than your life itself. Your
Yes.
life is more important than anything else. And
Yeah.
army teaches you how to keep yourself fit.
Good,
So I
good.
will recommend that everyone, whosoever is veteran, that give the topmost priority to your health. And nothing is
Good.
more important at this stage, keeping yourself fit. And army nobody can teach you better than the army that how you keep yourself fit. Because
Yes.
it is the army only, it is this organization only, armed forces, that which pays you to keep yourself fit. There is no other organization in the corporate or civil who pays you that you go and play games, you go and do PT. They will deduct your
Yes.
salary if you go and play PT and games during their 9 to 5. So army is the only
Yes.
organization which pays you for that, keeping yourself fit. So that is the one
Yes.
learning you can take from your armed forces and keep yourself fit and happy.
Good, 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 sir. Good, sir. This is all for the first part of the podcast. It was very much fun to talk to you, sir. Really, sir, I'm very much happy, and I also want to ask sorry for you because there was many interruption because of the networks and all, and I'm very
I
sorry
think
for
more than
that.
network, Hosla, I find that you conduct this on Zoom.
Yes,
Zoom
sir.
पे करो.
I'll take your
Because
this one, sir.
या तो कहीं तुम्हारे हेडसेट में गड़बड़ है, कहीं कुछ गड़बड़ है. Continuous there is a sound of tick 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 tick. To me, I am hearing. Okay.
Okay,
So most
okay,
of the
sir.
time, I'm missing the question or this thing. So you have to do a lot of editing in this. You have to do a lot of editing. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it,
Uh,
and it was very
so,
good to speak to you, sir. Very nice to speak to you. We
chalo,
will be
good,
having
good.
another. we'll-
I am also really happy that a lot of many things you reminded me to come out.
Yeah. Sir, we will having another podcast with you for the part two for of this mentoring stuff because it is very important. I feel that at this point of time it is very important.
So that we can think of sometime next week or something. Okay, when I'm free, you can check up
Yes, sir.
from me.
Yes.
Okay?
Good, sir.
Because right now, I'm fit. Okay. All the best.
Jai.
Yeah, yeah. Do a good editing because there are a lot of many interruptions are there. So
Yeah.
wherever you find that things are not clear, you can just cut it, delete it. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I will be sharing the copy with you also.
No issue. No issue. Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye. Bye. Take care.